What up? It's Jimmy. This is a clip from our big NCAA football show that we shot today, Monday, December 14th at 2 p.m. Eastern. If you want to check out the whole show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen, available exclusively on odds.com. Now we get into 8 p.m. Eastern, the SEC Championship. The big dog, Alabama Crimson Tide, number one ranked team in the country, 10-0, 10-0 in the SEC, versus Florida Gators. Sorry, I got the Florida State hat on. Florida Gators, 8-2, 8-2 in the SEC. Let's see what we are dealing with here. We have BetMGM hanging Alabama at -17, FanDuel at 17.5, DraftKings at 16.5. From a total perspective, we have 74s. It's all over the map. We have everything between 72.5 and 75. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia. Alabama was absolutely dominant this season. Their average margin of victory was 32.7 points. They outscored their last 5 opponents 253-36. Junior quarterback Mac Jones threw for 3,321 yards, 27 TDs, 3 interceptions. Running back Najee Harris ran for 1,084 yards and 22 touchdowns. Devonta Smith caught 83 passes for 1,327 yards and 15 touchdowns. They put up 537.8 yards per game and allowed just 340.1. Then we have Florida coming off a heartbreaking 37-34 losses, 23.5-point favorites at home to LSU in a game that will be remembered for a long time, not just because John Ryan had LSU on the money line at plus 900. The Gators stopped LSU on third down late in the fourth quarter with the score tied, and then everything fell apart. The shoe-throwing fiasco. Colt Taylor was tackled by Wilson with under 2 minutes left. Taylor's shoe came off, and Wilson was good enough to throw the shoe down the field. And multiple flags from the refs. 6 plays later, Cade York hits the 57-yard game-winning field goal with 23 seconds remaining. Senior quarterback Kyle Trask, who's thrown for 40 touchdowns, 5 interceptions this year on his way to possibly the Heisman, got them back in a position to tie, which was very impressive in and of itself. But Evan McPherson missed a 51-yard field goal as time expired that would have sent the game to overtime. The question is, does Florida bounce back? Were they looking ahead to this SEC championship game? Nolly knows. We'll start with you and go around the horn here. Very high total, up to 75 in some parts. What do you think here, SEC championship?
I mean, yeah, you mentioned it, a very high total, but I mean, you look at what these teams have been able to do. You look at Alabama averaging 49.5 points. Mac Jones has been lights out since the very beginning. And Florida on the other side, quarterback Trask is no slouch himself. So, I mean, you would expect to see a lot of points. 75 does seem to be quite a bit, though. So, to me, I think you're flirting in the range, so maybe getting in the range of maybe pull a trigger on the under. But I would expect it to keep going up, keep climbing up with people betting it. Alabama has shown, they are the class of college football this year, and I expect them to win. And I mean, I'm maybe looking at Alabama first half. I expect them to control the game. The defense is significantly better than what I've seen out of Florida. But to me, I'm not making a move right now, but I may make a move on the under if it keeps going up.
Understandably so. Living Good Comics says 90s. He thinks it gets up to the score, not the total. Thinks it gets up to the 90s here. CMac, what do you think here? SEC championship.
Yeah, I agree with Nolly, but I think that, like he said, the total is going to keep going up. I think it gets there. The one thing a little bit is I still think Florida scores, but Alabama's defense has played a lot better the last few weeks. I don't think they, hold down Trask, but it could be sneaky if this keeps going up and taking the over. I lean that, and I like Bama here. I'll ride him again. I'll probably take him first half and full game. Been doing it all year. It's been cashing, so I'll stick with it.
It sure has
Roll
been
Tide.
Cashing.
Yeah.
Sure has been cashing. Well, let's lock you in. There is a 16.5 on the board at -115 at DraftKings and Bet Rivers. Do you want it?
I saw that. Yeah, give me that.
All right, let's go. We have CMac pulling the trigger on Alabama -16.5 at DraftKings. All right, DJ Big Boss, take it away.
Hey, shout out to Cabo Cuts, man. And I'm retired DJ, man. I'm retired. So, those scratching and cutting, all that good stuff was me back in the day. But anyways, on this game right here, man, I'm so disappointed in the SEC. All this mumbo jumbo about them being the best conference and this, and look what we get as a conference championship. Look at the line in this one, just ridiculous. I'm no, like they say in the chat, nobody's gonna jump in front of Alabama in a spot like this. I love trash, but you know, in a game like this, is not even worth it in the long run. I like what Nolly saying about the under, because that is a really high total. We don't expect games to come out and actually play into the 80s and the 90s, especially at this level. So I would always lean under on that, but it's just not worth playing. None of it's worth playing. So it's a pass for me.
All right, John Ryan, here we go. SEC Championship, Crimson Tide Gators.
Well, I think Connor mentioned the Alabama defense is playing better. They're in the top 3 in my rankings right now, and keep in mind they gave up 49 to Mississippi earlier in the season. They rank 11th, allowing 16.8 per game, 24th, allowing 340 yards per game, 7th with a 0.23 points per play. They're 14th in yards per play. They're 4th in red zone scoring, allowing field goal or touchdown 63% of the time. So you can bet, no matter how good Florida is on offense, they are going to have a tough time when they get inside that 20. And it'll be few times that they get inside the 20. This is one of the few times, too, that we have a ranked team that is a double-digit underdog playing another top 10 team, and it doesn't bode well for Florida in that situation either. It's awful as it sounds. The Florida quarterback, it'll be interesting to see how the Heisman voting goes, because if he loses the last 2 games, unfortunately, that's what people remember. That's why we remember Bill Buckner instead of the 3 errors that occurred before that error. And if Lawrence, pulls it off here and gets the revenge against Notre Dame, it could be Trevor Lawrence getting the Heisman. So, it's a sad story for the kid from Florida, because he's had an unbelievable season. But he's up against a team here that might be one of the best Alabama teams in the last 10 years. Both sides of the ball are ridiculously good. And I don't see how Florida can contain them. Nobody has. And Florida's defense has been shredded time and time again. So, as DJ said, it's probably a game to pass. It's a bad matchup. Alabama could put 70 on the board against these guys.
They can, and I have to pull the trigger on them with CMac here at 16.5. I think they can win by 20 plus without too much of an obstacle in their path. So I am moving on them as well.